All right, let's see if this works. That should switch to my main screen, hopefully. Awesome. All right, welcome back. In this session, we're going to be continuing with a course on time management. We're currently at section 3 out of 7 of this course. So let me actually switch to the right notebook. Section 3. Oh, crap. I'll rename this effective task list, and it's available. And then section 3. Lesson 9. Get out of your head and why you should. All right, let's do this.
David Allen, the creator of Getting Things Done, or GTD, once said, "Your brain is for having ideas, not holding them." So there comes the day that many people sit down and create their task list just to have it outside of their heads and get back the control. It's a very useful technique, but please remember that task lists live on the logic level of our...
Okay. Task lists live on the logical level of our brains. If I remember correctly, logical is the prefrontal cortex. Prefrontal cortex. Let me double check if I got that right. So going back to our notes from the other day, the prefrontal cortex is responsible for all rational thinking. So yeah, that is where the logic resides, as opposed to the limbic system is where we have all of our emotions. Okay, so task lists live on the logical level. Without healthy habits, they won't improve our function. Although healthy habits would be in the well, I remember, but it's hard for me to pronounce because I'm not familiar with this word. Basal ganglia. So habits live inside the basal ganglia. Without healthy habits, basal ganglia, they won't improve our functioning.
Our brains. Without healthy habits, they won't improve our functioning. In this module, I'd like to give you practical examples about how to effectively use task lists without fairly quickly turning them into shame lists or guilt lists. Unfortunately, that happens to many people. Based on the previous module, I hope it's now clear how easy it is to steer our behavior by using emotional triggers like urgency or open information loops. We may, however, protect ourselves from that by creating a habit of using a task list. This will redirect our energy back to logic, help us
Task list. The function of task lists in this context would be a tool or method that allows us to redirect our energy back to logic. Help us to maybe that is good enough for notes. Time for a break. Okay, I will take a break and make use of this new BRB screen that I have. So let's see if it works. I don't think it worked. No, it worked. Awesome. Sweet. Actually, I should have my microphone muted during BRB sessions, or the BRB scene. All right, let's see. Super cool. Yeah, I'm super cool. Blah blah blah. Nani? Let's see. Says I have 2 viewers, although I have like 5 other accounts trying to watch from a different box. So do not all of these count, or are viewers limited to like IPs? Okay, let me actually change some settings that might be affecting how this works. I am online. All right, I think that's a long enough break. Let's see. Okay. Back to the main scene, and we'll restart this video.
Look from a different perspective and make better decisions. Task lists are basically tools to help you get back the control. The most important aspect of a task list, however, is not that it keeps information outside of your head. The key feature is that you can see various tasks, and it's very easy to compare them.
All right, I guess that's another important note. The key feature of task lists are so that you can see various tasks, and it's very easy to compare them and see the wider context. agenda. And I'll clip something just so that I have some media in this page.
And see in the wider context without much effort. Imagine that you see a headline that today there is a 30% discount for new shoes. It may be 40% or 50% if you think 30% is not enough. Based on what we already covered, you see the urgency and a quick win, so you will be tempted to act immediately. At least your emotional brain will. Now, let's open our task list and compare this item with our original plan. The key question is what I will not do by visiting the shop. I immediately see that I had initial plan for 4 tasks today. Visit my sick mom, prepare a birthday present, clean the house before a party, and set the date for my medical examination. Suddenly, this 30% or 50% discount doesn't look so tempting, right? This is the mechanism that we want to use in a primary role of your task list, to be able to easily compare items between each other and put them in a perspective. By looking at the list, I may also very easily create a plan. Why not make a call and set the date for medical examination right now? After that, I will prepare a present for my spouse and then clean the house. When I'm done, I'll go visit my sick mom, and if I have enough time, on my way, I may actually visit the shop and use a discount. This initial plan is, of course, open for modifications, but at least it is a good starting point. So, in the next lessons, I'd like to show you a few practical solutions and the most important problems that people face when using their task lists. David Allen, the creator of Getting Things Done or...
Alright, I guess I'll start another page. Section 3, Lesson 10. And the title of this is Useful Apps and Plugins. All right.
Because our head is for having ideas, not holding them, we want to keep ideas outside of our heads, but in a trusted place. Now, I'd like to cover some most popular applications and paper solutions that you may find useful and that you may trust. With applications, there is a variety of choice. Most apps are free in their basic versions. All of them have mobile versions, so you can install them on your Android phone or an iPhone, but you may also use them from your tablet or in a computer browser, and they will all sync together. Most apps have similar functionality. You can handle multiple lists, like for example projects. Each list can have multiple tasks. Tasks can have deadlines and reminders. You may also add notes, comments, tags, and attachments for each task. It's fairly easy to reorder tasks and
I guess these are all the features that you would look in, or that you would look for in an app that manages your tasks. So there's that.
move them between lists. Some tools will also allow sharing lists with other people. This is the functionality that you will find in almost any free task list application. The most important choice factor for you is if you like the...
Oh, okay. So he's telling user to pick their own, because not every one app is suitable for every person.
app. Remember, we have our emotional brain that may easily take control, so it is crucial that you use an application that you like, that looks good, and that seems easy to use. You will be opening it multiple times a day, and we need to have positive emotions attached to it. So, whenever you feel that it's not the case, please experiment with another solution. Here are good start options. You will find links to those tools also in the notes below the video. Wunderlist, that was acquired by Microsoft in 2015 and helped them to create their own application, Microsoft To Do. We have Todoist, Nozbe, Asana with a lot of functionality in the free version, ClickUp, AnyDo, Teamwork, Trello, and many more.
So let's see, out of all of this, I have seen Microsoft To Do, but have not used it. I've seen Todoist as an extension in Slack, I believe, but have not used it. Nozbe have not even heard of it. Asana I have used professionally. Have not heard of ClickUp or AnyDo or Teamwork. And I've also used Trello professionally. So that's 2 out of 8 that I have used for real projects.
More. Trello is fairly popular for its ability to organize tasks into visual columns. This is what many people like. And that functionality was also added to Asana in 2016. If you don't know where to start...
What? Asana has that now?
I'd start with either Microsoft To Do, Nozbe, or Todoist, and then compare it with Trello. With paper, we have few possible solutions. However, one of the best I've seen...
Actually, let me make a reminder. Check out Trello again. And perhaps integrate it into the stream or workflow. Sweet.
In is bullet journal. That calls itself the analog method for the digital age.
However, one of the best I've seen is bullet journal that calls itself the analog method for the digital age. But is that really a task list? Looks more like a blogger source. Bullet journal. Oh, it's a book. It is a book. All right. Author recommends checking out bullet journal. I'll take a snippet of this. Whether you've used bullet journal for years or have never seen one before, the international bestseller for the bullet journal method will show you how to go from passage to pilot of your life through intentional living. Okay, so I guess it is the ecosystem. So it looks like there's a journal that you use, which could somehow tie into an app. And what else? All right, well, let's see. Okay, it's just a notebook. I mean, can I use any notebook, or is this like a specialized notebook? Dot grid layout, thread-bound ink-proof paper. Okay, like.
Mango once said, "Many painters are afraid of the blank canvas, but the blank canvas is afraid of the truly passionate painter who dares, and who has broken the spell of you can't." Notebooks are my canvas. When I write in them, I dare. Dare to create, to make, to plan. They're a creative playground where you breathe life into ideas. With time, I got better at using them and designed a system for notebooks. Like the notebooks themselves, the system had to be flexible and forgiving. I called it the bullet journal. This is the bullet journal notebook. Crowdfunded into existence by nearly 3,000 backers, it's the only notebook in the world designed from the ground up for bullet journaling, and sports a hardcover, 5.75 inches wide by 8.25 inches tall. The size makes it easy to write in, and the cover offers a good amount of protection that will help it last for years. On the inside cover is the key. In addition to the main symbols used in the bullet journal system, it features blank grids that will help you design your own. After the key are 4-line pages for your index. This can come in handy if you want a separate dedicated index for school or work, for example. Following the index, you have a dedicated future log. It spans 4 numbered .grid pages that will allow you to lay out your future log any way you like. The notebook pages are printed on bright white 80-gram ink-proof paper. 239 pages feature a .grid which combine the flexibility of a blank canvas with the clarity of a grid. The pages are numbered, which makes organizing and indexing your content much easier. Speaking of organization, the book also features 3 different colored built-in bookmarks. This will help you quickly access your most frequently used collections.
Alright,
If you don't know how to bullet journal, or you need a refresher, the back of the book features 8 pages of detailed instructions. At the end of the book, you'll find an expanding gusseted pocket in which you can store things like post-it notes, business cards, or receipts.
Make your mark. The included key helps you keep track of the symbols.
With the tremendous
Use to
support of the
code your
bullet journal
entries.
community, I was able to design the notebook of my dreams, and I couldn't be happier with how it turned out. I really hope you like it. Get yours on bulletjournal.com.
Okay, I mean, it seems like something that you would have to spend $25 on frequently. I mean, what if you're learning more than one subject? Does that mean you have to get 5, for example, different bullet journals? I mean, that's $125. And I'm not so sure on this. What does start here do? Okay, I think we watched the tutorial. So the traditional method versus a rapid logging method. Like what is the difference? I mean, there's more detail here, but there's less over here, and there's just 60% less content. But 60% less content does not necessarily mean that it's better. Be it for taking notes or journaling, studies keep identifying benefits of writing by hand. I believe that. That said, it takes time and can be unorganized. How can we enjoy the benefits while avoiding the shortcomings of handwriting? Rapid logging. Rapid logging is the language in which bullet journal is written. In short, it's the way of capturing information as bulleted lists. Let's start with the basics. Alright, so you have a dot for things you have to do. You have a minus sign for the notes, or dots for tasks, minus sign for notes. I mean, can I just replicate that here in OneNote? I mean, I'll do a dot for tasks. Then over here, I'll have a dash for notes. And then a circle for events. And, okay. Tasks are represented by a simple dot. That's that. We use a dot instead of a checkbox because it's fast, clean, and can easily be transformed to reflect the other state of the task. Task can often have one of 5 states. Okay. Let me actually zoom out. Okay. Arrow. 5 states of task. So 1 is a dot, and that means it's incompleted. Two means that the 2 is an X, or the second state is an X, which means completed. Oops. How do I undo? A third state is a greater than sign, which means that the task is migrated to a collection. To a collection. 4 is a less than symbol, and it means to schedule in future log. And I guess the fifth state is when you cross out everything. Cross out. And this means that task becomes irrelevant. I am kind of not liking my handwriting with this Wacom tablet. Might have to get something else, because I don't know, I don't think I'll be like happy with this, and if I'm not happy with the way it looks, I'm probably not gonna end up really using it so often. But anywho, okay, so then moving on to events. Events are circles. Events are represented by the O bullet. Events are date-related entries that can either be scheduled or logged after they occur. Our experience can be complicated and distracting. Rather than trying to capture the way you feel in the moment, keep your event entries short and objective. It will increase the odds of us writing them down. The important thing is to have a record of your experience so that you can learn from it. Okay. Then we have notes. Notes are dashes right here. Notes are represented with a dash. Notes include facts, ideas, thoughts, and observations. They're used to capture information or data that you don't want to forget. This bullet works well for meetings, lectures, and classroom notes. So I guess in his first note he writes a date, office clothes for Reno. Jack has a gluten intolerance. Use mayo instead of butter on grilled cheese. Okay, and then we can mix and match. Oh, okay, so it's a system. So at first there's an event. It's Lay's dinner. Wait, this is a circle. Yeah. Events. Then dots is a task. So during Lay's dinner, Claire is responsible for organizing a birthday cake. Nicholas is tasked with call re-travel docs, whatever that means. Then we have a note saying that song about vending machine. Okay. Then we have another event. Watched Wonder Woman with LK. Okay, so when the next line is an event, then anything under the event that is a task or a note is within the scope of that event. I'm guessing how that works. Okay, so this point right here addresses what I was just talking about. So I was wondering, how do you scope each of these items, and you scope them by using nesting, which is something I'm already used to. So in this case, we have what is it? An event, and within the scope of this Lay's dinner event, we have two notes. One is I guess this is the location, and the other note is talked about how to help Jane. All right, and in this task here, we have a couple related items, which is to order the cake, pick up the cake, and task, and a note. Needs to be gluten-free. Okay. Ooh, there's something more advanced. Signifiers. Okay, so I guess with each of these items, you could use a priority, which is an asterisk, or you can use an exclamation mark to signify inspiration. Okay, I mean, I'm gonna draw all this out since I realize that I'm not too happy with my writing on this Wacom tablet. Actually, I should write nesting down too, so I'll steal this and paste it somewhere over here. Oh, there we go. Okay, and then when we put it all together, start by giving your page a short descriptive topic. So how the author does it is, I guess he has the date. Okay, I guess using this method, bullet journaling, you're not using the journal for individual topics. You're using it more as something that is an on-the-fly daily, I don't know, how would you call this? On-the-fly daily live agenda builder, or I don't know. It's not something that I have incorporated in my life, so I guess this is something to look into. Let me zoom out and grab this as well. Oops. Collections. Bujo is a modular framework. Each module or collection serves to organize related information. You can mix and match, customize, or even create collections to best suit your needs. So let's look at the 4 core collections. The index, future log, monthly log, and daily log. So the index lives at the front of your notebook. That serves to locate content in your bullet journal. Okay. So you have to kind of manually number your pages, or are all the pages already numbered for you? Let's see. No, I mean, this doesn't look like it's going to be manually numbered, and that kind of sucks. But let me double check. Actually, it does look like the 4-page future log does look like it's numbered, but our regular blank pages numbered is my question. Oh well, all right, I think I spent kind of maybe too much time here, so let's go back.
If you like paper a lot, please at least read about it and their system of managing tasks on paper. It's very useful. Of course, with paper, everything is possible. You may stay with just a sheet of paper or even sticky notes. I hope it's clear that it's not about specific solution, but rather finding something you like and is easy to use that will help you compare them with each other and put your actions in a wider context. We have different personalities, we have different taste, different need of order, temperament, so it's really important that the tools and the processes get along with it. So before going to the next lesson, I would strongly recommend installing an application if you don't have one, or preparing a sheet of paper. When you have it, spend 5 to 10 minutes writing down at least 20 tasks that you keep in your head. This will greatly help us go through the next lessons. If you need any links or help, you may find them in the lesson summary. But now let us cover why task lists grow so quickly and our frustration with it, and what we can do about it. A common problem that many people...
Okay. Let's see. We're done here. Let's go to section 3, lesson 11, with the title Effective List Segmentation.
People face is that they start with 10 or 20 tasks on their list, but the list keeps growing. When it reaches 40 or more tasks, it changes from task list to shame list. The moment that you look at it reminds you that you will never get it done. Usually, the list is growing faster than you're able to work on the tasks. Every time you try to choose an item from a list of 100 tasks, you spend the same energy over and over again. This is why we need to narrow our view and simplify decisions. There is a simple trick that will help us with this. Your great list of tasks can easily be divided into 4 segments. Things you are doing right now, at the moment, and usually it's just 1. Things you plan to do today, usually between 3 and 15 tasks, depending on granularity. Things you plan to do this week, usually between 10 and 40 tasks, and things for later, not planned for this week, and you may have hundreds of tasks.
Idea for organizing your task list. Segmentation. One method is to organize it via the following buckets. Now would be one task. Today would be 3 to 15 tasks. This week would be 10 to 40. And later would be over 100.
Out there. So, when you feel that your list is overwhelming to you, please rename the whole list to later.
Okay. If tasks aren't working too well for you for the reason that that tasks aren't getting done and it's functioning more as something that overwhelms you, then you're doing it wrong. One way to remediate this is to rename the task list to later and set it aside. Alright, let me just get that arrow pointing there.
And then create 2 additional lists, today and this week. Now, move some of the items to this week and few of them to today. Now...
Okay. Then, from the later list, move some of the task over to a new now or today bucket.
So the only list that is interesting for us during the day is the today list with just a few items. This helps us focus, and at the same time, every decision is much simpler. It's way more easy to choose 1 out of 10 tasks than 1 of the 100. Besides, because we don't see the other 90, it doesn't cause so much anxiety. If you remember the concept of open information loops and what it does to us, you know why. Now, all we have to do is every day create a rough plan for the day. So look at this week list and move some of the items into today list. And that should take us no longer than 3 minutes. And then every week, go through all ongoing projects and the whole later list and choose some tasks for the coming week. And this should take us no longer than 15 minutes. So you look at the today list many times a day. You look at this week once every day to plan many times a day.
Okay. Let's go back here.
Day list many times a day.
How come he doesn't have a bucket for now? Huh. How do I add another column here? Insert table. Can I modify this table here? I want to add one more to the right. Question. Checked many times a day.
You look at this week once every
day. Once every. Checked once every day.
Day to plan the next day. And you look at all other lists just once a week.
Crap, let me make this a little bit smaller. Check once a week.
To plan the next week. This approach takes all the anxiety and emotional tension and helps us focus on what we actually can achieve on a specific day. We are saving a lot of energy because we are not taking the same decisions over and over again, and we avoid opening too many information loops. One last thing that also helps people better plan their days is a quick t-shirt size estimate of the task. You may have your own sizes, but you may also start with medium is half an hour, large is over.
Okay. Let's see. Another tool to incorporate is by sizing up the amount it will take to complete a task and give it a label. So we have extra small for something that would take 5 minutes. Yeah, small, 15 minutes. Now medium, 30 minutes. Large would be 1 hour. And extra large would be 4 hours. 4 hours or greater.
An hour, small is 15 minutes, and extra small is just 5 minutes or less. Extra large will be over 4 hours, but we will cover extra large in the next lesson. Adding this quick, intuitive estimate by a tag or in a task name or on a side of it helps speed up the planning process. You may use it to see that you plan 6 large tasks for the day. It may not be realistic. See that you have few small tasks that you may group together, get rid of them, and start something bigger with an empty head.
See that you plan 6 large tasks for the day. It might not be realistic. See that you have a small task that you may group together. Get rid of them and start something bigger with an empty head.
Very quickly choose the next task if you have just half an hour and you have the energy to work on something. Immediately skip large tasks and most of the medium-sized tasks, and the decision is quick and easy.
Use it to see.
So, before you continue to the next lesson, I would encourage you to create your today and this week lists, move some of the tasks out there, and add quick estimates, even if it's just for a few tasks on your today list. And next, let us cover what we can do about extra large tasks. Do you remember the...
All right, moving on. Section 3, Lesson 12. Breaking down projects.
time that we didn't have Facebook or Booking.com or Uber or Tinder? How about microwaves or GPS navigation?
How long is
Everything
this?
now is becoming easier and easier. What would take you a few minutes some time ago, today may be completed with just a few clicks. Our brain is constantly trying to save energy, and what is nice and easy is usually preferred. This is why it's so hard to move with the big items on your task list. There are so many nice and easy alternatives that it seems we have to force ourselves to even start. Everyone has this task on their list that is there for months or even years. It's calling for our attention, but usually we don't do it, and pushing it for later causes more and more guilt. But fortunately, there is a simple solution to that. It's based on the fact that once you start, it's fairly easy to continue. Many times the hardest part of regular running is to put your shoes on. The rest will follow. The same with cleaning the house or answering a lengthy email. The hardest part is to start. So whenever you see that there is a task on your list that is really difficult to
a possible solution to handling a handling a difficult task to handling to starting a task that's difficult.
start. Please just split it into smaller tasks. The first step has to sound easy to your brain and give a reward. You move the task or the project forward. Every time you are stuck, you see clean the wardrobe or throw a party, treat them as projects and break them down into smaller pieces. This is usually a great relief. The first task in throw a party? Probably make the list of guests. If it sounds too hard, let's ask a question. What would be the first step of making the guest list? What will be the first step in cleaning the wardrobe? This question will be our great help. There's one more aspect of breaking down projects into smaller pieces. You may easily track, see, and feel the progress. When you're organizing a party, after you've done some work, you may still be overwhelmed with how much work is left. But when you see 10 out of 20 tasks were already completed, and you clearly see the next steps and the final goal, it will greatly help to move forward. And once you're stuck with some task, ask yourself a question: what would be the first small step in this task? You don't need to declutter the whole wardrobe at once. Maybe you can start with just socks and underwear as the first step. So you may now clean up your task list, identify the extra large items or large items that seem stuck for some time, and break them down. Please also scan your task list and answer a simple question. What would be the first step to move it forward?
Ask yourself for the task in question. What would be the first step to move forward?
If it's not clear, it will be really hard to start. But if it's clear, it will create some additional mental energy for you. When you want to keep project tasks together in a tool, you have a few options. For larger projects, you may create a separate list, then break down the project and keep the tasks within that list. You will then be moving some of these tasks into this week list with every week planning. For smaller projects with just a few steps, it's usually enough to make a prefix in a task name or use a tag. So, if your project is to achieve B2 level in Italian, you may split it to tasks the way you like and then move them to your this week list. Good luck! And let's look at one more improvement that we may take to our task lists.
All right, clarifying the goal.
In the previous lesson,
Ooh, it looks like it's time for a break, but before I take a break, let me write this down. It's 13, clarifying the goal. New line. This is paused. And yeah, BRB for a couple minutes. Test. What happened here? Alright, let's see. Ooh, I did not want to do that. Let me switch back to my other desktop. There we go. That's when I hit that button. Alright, let's finish the rest of this lesson.
We asked ourselves a question: what would be the first small step to move forward? There's one more question that greatly helps many people. How do I know it's done? Can you clearly imagine the final result so that you are free to mark the task as done? This is, by the way, a great reward to our brain, so we want that.
How do you know when something's or how do you know when something is done?
Again, if you're not clear about the final result, the task will create some mental tension. And if you can visualize the end result, you will feel more energy to actually start. It's all about seeing and feeling.
Okay, that's an important point. If you can visualize the end result, you will feel more energy. To actually start. That said, so this should be your reason to motivate you to have a system where your task list defines an end to a goal, I would say, but I might reiterate that once he starts going into details.
Feeling the result. Suddenly, it's more emotional than logical, and this is what we want. So, for some tasks, it seems obvious. Answer an email, the email was sent. Create a proposal, the document is ready and was sent for approval. Organize a meeting, the invitation was sent, and
okay, that makes sense. Grab that. Examples. Looks like in this case, there's a checklist, and everything in bold is the original item. And once he checked something off, he took an additional note. For example, the email was sent. This, I guess, this means that you're clarifying that it was done in this way. So once you write this down, you know for sure that it was answered and the document is ready and was sent for approval. So you know that you did 2 tasks to ready up the document and to send it for approval, which is what was needed to be done when you meant create a proposal. Thirdly, we have the invitation was sent, so that's 1 task, and meeting goal and agenda are in the invitation. So the invitation was sent, but without a meeting or agenda in that invitation, it wouldn't have felt like completing this task, which is organizing a meeting. But if you write down that you completed all 2 items, or maybe 3, then you would feel more confident that you reached the goal. Therefore, you'd feel more safe or reassured by crossing this task out.
meeting goal and agenda are in the invitation. But how about improve communication skills? Quality time with my family. clean up clothes or books, or
Okay, examples that are not so great. Because I am thinking these are open loop. Is that the terminology? Open loop? Open loop, yeah. So these right here are very open loop. I mean, what does it mean to improve your communication skills? Like, what was your goal? How do you measure that? And when you measure it, how much is actually enough to meet your goal, right? I mean, I think it would be, not so practical if improve communication skills is interpreted as become a good enough speaker so that I don't know, you become a toastmaster. I think in order to clarify this, you would have to write what exactly does improve mean, and by how much, and what are the steps to take to achieve those sub tasks.
or even clean up the room, eat healthy, or learn something new. We can spend hours trying to complete it, and it seems we are never done. This is very frustrating to many people, and it's especially hard for those who have perfectionist behaviors. I often work with perfectionists, and I noticed that when there is no clear picture of how reality looks when you're done, you can always do more. You're cleaning up the room, and it seems like there's always something left, and you feel frustrated.
Okay, that happens to me. So I'll just copy exactly what he said. A common problem for myself is that I'll start an open-ended task, such as cleaning the room. I'll get cleaning done, but I won't know when to stop because there's always something else, or there's always something I'll see that could be worked on.
This is why we need a picture in your head of what it actually means to complete it. Go through chapters 2.4 and 2.5 and pass the online exam. Spend 1 hour playing with kids with my phone in airplane mode. Put papers together and sort them by date.
Verifying.
Agree on the destination of our next trip. So please scan your task list. Destination.
Okay, cool. Grab that, put that there.
Of our next trip. So please scan your task list right now and see if you can very quickly imagine the end result of each of the tasks. If not, this is a good time to correct some of them, even if just for a few items on your today and this week lists. With time, you'll get better in this.
Better. So I hope this module helped you to create a task list. Okay.
So I hope this module helped you to create a task list that is actually helping you, rather than generating guilt and shame. Our task lists are there to help us put our actions in a wider context. Help us answer a question, what will I not do by doing something else? This is our navigation system when our emotional brain takes control. We have a few electronic and paper solutions, and the most important aspect of it is that it's easy for you to use and that you like it. We need positive emotions associated with it. Once we have one big list and it's overwhelming, we create additional lists and call them today and this week, and that helps us focus on what we can achieve, and it reduces stress. It also makes planning much easier and faster because we don't spend the same energy and make the same decisions over and over again. And then we scan our list and ask ourselves 2 questions. 1, what would be the first small step to move it forward? And 2, how do I know it's done? If you can answer those two questions easily, you will get some extra energy to move forward with them. Okay, the next short module is about the calendar and how it interacts with the task list, and then we will move to focus and distractions. In the previous lesson, we asked ourselves the question, what would be the first small step to move forward? There's one more question that greatly helps many people. How do I...
All right, so, okay, I'm on the quiz. So let's complete this and call it a session. Okay. All right, so question number 1. What is the most important function of a task list? Option A is to keep things outside of our head. I mean, that's true. Number 2 is improving our memory and cognitive capacity. I don't think I remember him saying that. Number 3, or option C, is seeing the structure and being able to easily analyze. I mean, what's more important, keeping things outside of our head or seeing the structure? I would say this is more important. Okay, cool. All right, question number 2. What would be the best strategy to choose an application for the task list management? Option A is to use one that's currently the most popular. Option B, use the one that you like, that looks good, and that seems natural. I think this is the one that he was emphasizing. And option C is to use one that has the biggest number of free features. I mean, price versus value does play a factor, but I think this is the idea. It's to use one that works with you, because the most popular one or the best paid one might work for some people, but it does not guarantee that it will work or be the best option for you. So I suppose the best thing to do is try many of them out, or not even try, like YouTube them and see which one looks like something that would work best for you. Question number 3 is, what is the best option if the list keeps growing and growing and it turns into a task list, into a shameless? So option A is to delete some tasks and make it shorter. Option B is to sort it so that the important lists are at the top. But the correct answer is the last one, which is to, going back here where I wrote it down, if task lists aren't working too well for you, for the reason that the tasks aren't getting done and it's functioning more as something that just overwhelms you, then you're doing it wrong. One way to remediate this is to rename the task list to later and set it aside. Then from the later list, move some of the tasks over to the new and today buckets. And these are the buckets you have now, today, this week, and later. And question number 4, our last question, is what is the strategy that usually works when you're stuck with some tasks and you procrastinate? So option A is to divide it, and the key word here is divide, and I think this is the right answer without needing to look at the others. Divide and conquer is the terminology that I was thinking of. Just try harder. I think trying harder just will frustrate someone. And then lastly, we have ask someone for help. I mean, I suppose if you're doing the same thing and nothing is working for you, you probably should ask someone. So this is a last resort sort of measure. Don't continue doing the same thing over and over and over. If you are not progressing, it's time to consult with someone or something. Don't continue doing the same thing. All right, that should give me a 4 out of 4. And yeah, sweet. Okay, I think I also went, well, not overtime. I kind of started this late. Let me look at my stream timer. Let me blur this out a bit. And then go over here, and it looks like my stream timer is at 1 hour and 21 minutes. Looks like I went a bit overtime. And looking at my calendar. Actually, let me refresh this. Yeah, I'm supposed to be doing the course on CCNA right now, but I'm not going to do it right now because I need to give my dog a walk. And so I'm going to have to move it to later tonight, or I might have to just postpone this lesson until tomorrow or something. All right, cool. That all said, thank you for joining this session or watching it afterwards. Your feedback is appreciated, and you could find a form to fill out to provide me feedback in the panel that says arigato gozaimasu. So if you want to give me some feedback or give me some real hard cash, you can do that. That said, I am checking out. Thank you for watching.